I had my spiritual awakening on LSD.
Mm-hmm.
And someone handed me Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita while I was dancing on a dance floor in a London nightclub. A very handsome Indian young man approached me, handed me the Gita, said, "You got to read this." I said, "Okay, I will." And I literally went into the corner of the room and started reading.
While you were tripping?
Yes.
Yeah.
When he approached you, was he dancing also?
Yeah, he just
was?
kind of like sauntered on up beside me, and I was like, "Who's this gorgeous-looking guy?" I mean,
You were dancing, the gorgeous Indian guy came up. It's kind of like Krishna sent him.
literally.
What was your experience when you read the Gita in that state, in that club?
It was like every word on the page felt like another petal of my heart opening that had been closed before.
Wow.
It was like Prabhupada, I'm going to cry. Prabhupada's words are so profound. He's the greatest philosopher I've ever read. Of all the books in spirituality that I read, nobody touches what Srila Prabhupada touched, because he explained everything so simply and so easily for us to understand that just reading the words one by one, it was like organic, natural connection. I understood. I didn't doubt even one word of what he had to say.
Those are not fake tears, folks.
Yeah, I put some chili powder on my fingers.
I can't comprehend why you're killing me. I don't understand why you're pulling me down. We see the same sun going up. We walk the same ground. Reminds me. Reminds me. Reminds me.
Welcome, everyone, to the Eighth Element podcast. My name is Buzz Ryan, and this is,
Gargs Allard.
and our special guest is
Krishna Rose.
the inimitable, beautiful Krishna Rose. We are so grateful that you're with us. We're going to, Gargs, I think you can give a little background to our esteemed guest.
Okay, so you were born in England, correct?
Yes.
What part of England?
L'Oreal.
Hampstead Heath, London.
I'm not going to try to pronounce that. And you showed early interest in history, religion, poetry, music. And you played classical violin with the Hatfield Orchestra. At the age of 7, you were discovered by the great ballet teacher Dame Margot Fontaine,
Yeah.
which led you to study dance with the Royal Ballet in Hamburg, Germany, before returning to London. So you had a career in the music industry, and you worked with such renowned artists as Ozzy Osbourne, Whitney Houston, Bon Jovi, Pearl Jam, and others. Did I miss anyone significant there that you like to
Kula
mention?
Shaker.
Kula Shaker,
Yes.
Aerosmith,
Aerosmith, cool.
so many. Fleetwood Mac.
That's the first concert I ever saw, Aerosmith.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of small-time artists.
Yeah.
So you had a spiritual awakening, 1995, after, during a transformative trip to India. You were introduced to Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj. He's a spiritual nephew of Srila Prabhupada. Is that
You
correct?
could say that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, good way to put
And
it.
they were close associates.
Very close friends.
So this encounter shifted your path, leading you to live in India for some time and explore practices of devotional service. And there you delved into the secret histories of figures like Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And you know a lot about that, and we'll be talking about that a little later. So you're also a singer-songwriter. You've put out several albums, correct?
Yes.
How many?
5, I think.
5, okay. I saw like 3 or 4 on Spotify. You began writing and performing songs in a poetic style reminiscent of Wordsworth, and Milton. And you developed a unique blend of world music with Celtic, Renaissance, and ancient themes. And I listened to, I believe it was almost the same title of your book, which you're an author of?
Woman in Red.
Woman in Red, yes. And
Yes.
I really enjoyed it.
That's the soundtrack for the upcoming movie.
There's a film upcoming, okay. And it reminded me to some extent of Enya.
Thank you.
So you also have had a career in research and writing. You spent 25 years researching obscure texts and visiting historical sites to uncover untold stories, particularly Mary Magdalene, who we already mentioned. You published in February 2020, you were a winner of the Best Fiction Book of the Year from Pencraft, which blends, what was the book called? Magdalene Speaks. I'm sorry. My eyesight's pretty bad here. Which blends historical fiction with spiritual insights. And as of early 2025, you are editing your second book, The Secrets in the Mirror, Dance of the Seven Veils, which will come with a self-help oracle deck. So currently, what are you doing?
She's hanging out here with us, Garth.
I'm only thinking that with you, yes. I'm exploring consciousness at 1,000,000 miles an hour every morning. How about that?
That's very good. I like that. And you live on a farm in Alachua, Florida?
I'm not living on a farm at the moment.
Okay.
I am in Alachua currently.
So I'm thinking, first of all, very, very rich.
We want to mention her daughter also.
Oh, yes. But let's focus on.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
On you first, because you're the matriarch. But yeah, just a very rich background of the arts, spirituality, music, writing, and just the creative spirit of the seeker. So it's a beautiful combination of many elements. Perhaps we can begin with your experience. It's kind of intriguing, kind of a spiritual perspective, what you learned, what you saw, what your observations in the music biz, dealing with all these very, very significant artists. You went from that to managing a very spiritual band, Kula, who is Crispian Mills, who's the son of Haley Mills, who was a very famous British actress, beautiful actress, back in the 70s. And Crispian, I met you, and I saw them play at the House of Blues in New Orleans,
Nice.
kind of back in the day. It was a fabulous show. I would speculate that would be a reasonable speculation that there was a mission to infuse the rock and roll industry. I'm wearing my Peace, Love, and Rock and Roll shirt today, but
I saw that.
infuse that industry, which is not always of the light, with the infusion of higher consciousness and transcendental consciousness, and ultimately Krishna consciousness. I loved when Kula Shankar performed the Govindam song. It was great, and he did a great job on the wah-wah guitar, being a guitar player myself.
He's the best.
So, perhaps you could share your insights into that whole musical, spiritual, the infusion, the intersection of the two.
Okay. So there are two different parts of my life. The first part of my life was when I was 15. I just decided that I was going to be in the music industry, and there was no way I was going to accept anything else. So I went into London, and I went around every label and demanded that somebody give me a job without paying me for 6 months. Give me a job for 6 months for free, and if you think I'm good, you can hire me. So Arista Records was the company that hired me.
Was that Clive Davis?
Yes, Clive Davis, yeah. So I went through a whole myriad of working through media, marketing, A&R, discovering new bands was very exciting to me. It was a development of new artists was something that I was particularly very passionate about. I love to discover people and fan the flames of their talent. So going through the music business I was very young, and I was surrounded by these massive rock stars who were not my they weren't my peers. You know, I was into techno music. I was into going raving. These were not people's music that I particularly liked or listened to even. But I grew to love them as people. I loved touring with them. I loved watching them come out on stage and performing the music that we had all worked so hard behind the scenes to promote and to market, and suddenly there's this explosion of cheering and crowds screaming, and finally all my hard work has paid off. There's something so deeply satisfying about that. So I got to travel through the 1980s, early 90s with a lot of heavy metal bands, a lot. It was amazing. I don't even know how to describe how much fun I had. To say it was rock and roll lifestyle is the understatement of the century. It really was rock and roll. And, you know, I was a young girl, and I was warned by my boss, don't sleep with the rock stars. So I had my fortress on, and I was determined to go through my years in the music industry not being tempted by all the handsome rock stars that wanted to get with me. So
that's too funny.
No, I didn't. So I didn't actually. I never went with any of those men.
A little high five on
Thank
that
you.
one. That's pretty remarkable.
What was the average time when you were on tour that you actually went to bed, went to sleep?
Sleep,
Yeah.
maybe 3 to 5 hours a night.
What time?
I would probably get to bed somewhere between 3 and 5 a.m.
Okay.
And then I'd have to be in the office by 7 to 9 a.m. already signing contracts and working on the next tour. It was a lot. I was exhausted. By the end of it, I had no personal life. I couldn't maintain a relationship. I wanted to get married and have children. My health was deteriorating. I wasn't eating well. It was too much drugs, too much alcohol, too many late nights, so much fun. And then it just one day just felt empty. I was just like, I'm tired of doing all this work for these people who really, you know, I'm just a little tiny little speck on their frame. They don't even know that I exist practically. Well, they did, but you know, I'm not important to them. And I'm sacrificing all my energy, all my life, all my time, all my talent for other people to become multimillionaires. And I watched, and I would do the payroll at the end of the night, at the end of each show, and watch the millions rolling in. And I was sitting at home struggling and just going, this just doesn't feel right.
Was it a gradual realization, or can you remember like a moment where you just said, that's it?
It was a moment. It was a drugged up moment.
Yeah, please extrapolate.
Well, I mean, I had my spiritual awakening on LSD. And someone handed me Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita while I was dancing on a dance floor in a London nightclub. A very handsome Indian young man approached me, handed me the Gita, said, you got to read this. I said, okay, I will. And I literally went into the corner of the room and started reading.
While you were tripping?
Yes.
Yeah.
When he approached you, was he dancing also?
Yeah, he just kind of like sauntered on up beside me, and I was like, who's this gorgeous looking guy? I mean, he was like gorgeous. And he handed me this book. Actually, we became really good friends. And we both moved into the temple together 48 hours later.
Wow.
At the Manor, Bhaktivedanta
Sure,
Manor.
sure. You were dancing, the gorgeous Indian guy came up. It's kind of like Krishna sent him.
Literally.
To, you know, and you were, because you were on acid, I dropped acid maybe 5-6 times back in that time, and they were all very illuminating experiences until I realized that whatever its awakening is already in me. And if I take something external to get there, I'll never really achieve that.
Correct.
Because I have to depend on something. It was showing the potential. So I said, no, I have to find out how to get to there organically.
Exactly.
But nonetheless, what was your experience when you read the Gita in that state, in that club?
It was like every word on the page felt like another petal of my heart opening that had been closed before.
Wow.
It was like, Prabhupada, I'm going to cry. Prabhupada's words are so profound. He's the greatest philosopher I've ever read. Of all the books in spirituality that I read, nobody touches what Srila Prabhupada touched. Because he explained everything so simply and so easily for us to understand that just reading the words one by one, it was like organic, natural connection. I understood. I didn't doubt even one word of what he had to say.
Those are not fake tears, folks.
Yeah, I put some chili powder on my fingers.
You know, it's so, I mean, obviously it's so touching. I mean, you were just touched to the core of your soul just remembering that moment. I think many of us had similar types of experiences where we'd been reading so many books from so many different traditions and spiritual teachers, but coming across the books of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, it's like it just cut through all the flowery words and
all the BS
all
just
the
flew
BS.
out the
It
door.
was just like right there alive on the page.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God, the truth is shining through there.
Yeah.
What in
Exactly.
particular did you read that struck you?
About reincarnation and karma and the importance of ending reincarnation forever. I really understood immediately every word Prabhupada was saying was real and that death is coming and I don't want to reincarnate. I want to go home. And I made a very strong vow to my own soul that I would do everything I can in this life to ensure that I make that happen.
For those in the audience that may not understand the context of return home, can you explain that?
So, just like how Jesus talks about the kingdom of God and ending our suffering forever, there is a beautiful kingdom that exists where Radha and Krishna, God and Goddess, exist amongst their friends and their beloveds in a very charming kingdom known as the Kingdom of God. So when I discovered Srila Prabhupada's books, I also discovered a process by which I could discover who I am within that reality. And I thought, wow, what an amazing concept, that I can exist in two places at once. I can exist in the spiritual world, and I can exist here simultaneously, just like Srila Prabhupada did, just like our previous acharyas did.
Like, in other words, in the world,
Yes.
but not of the world.
Exactly. And that's the goal. You see, in spiritual life, we think that we enter the kingdom when we die. If you don't enter the kingdom while you live, you will not be returning to the kingdom when you die.
It's the idea of the pie in the sky when you die.
Right. So that process that we've been given is an active process that connects you to that world and to the personalities of that world. And the more that you associate with that process, the more you become lucid in that world to which you're trying to enter. And because it's spiritual and eternal, it's always there. It's not something that is in the future. I'm going to attain this thing when I die. No, it's something you attain right now in this moment, when you cry for Krishna, when you beg for mercy, when your guru is pleased with you and blesses you with the grace that you need to see the kingdom with your inner eyes. So that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So that kingdom that Jesus spoke about is the same kingdom that Srila Prabhupada spoke about in his book. So that is why I wrote my book, so that all of these people who follow Jesus, who don't particularly have a process to follow and don't really know about the kingdom or how to attain it, I wanted to give them a practical understanding of what Jesus came to give. So that's why I wrote the book.
Wow, that's beautiful. If you don't mind, I would love to come back to this and that particular type of guidance that you would give to, you could say, from your experience to our brothers and sisters in the Christian community. Since we are coming from the part of your life that was embedded in the rock and roll industry, you had this awakening, you had these realizations. Where did you segue from there? And I'd like to eventually get to the point where you were managing Kula Shekhar and your experience with that.
Okay,
and
so
we'll come back to this, okay?
So that's pretty much how I segued, was Kula Shekhar. So I was no longer wanting to work in the music industry as a booking agent, which I'd been doing for many years. I wanted to give that up, so I walked away. But I could never walk away fully from the music business. It's in my soul. So I was at Glastonbury Music Festival with some friends, and I hear this wailing electric guitar. And it's Crispian Mills, and he was performing in the Hare Krishna tent. So I walked past the Hare Krishna tent, and I said to my friends, just give me a second, I'm going to go in and sign this band. So I did.
Wow.
That's what I did.
What label were you with at that time?
At that time, it was a booking agent.
Okay.
So I would have signed them to my agency for development. So I went in and introduced myself and told Crispian, this is my information, let's get in touch, I want to sign you. But they were very happy. So I basically developed that band for the next 2 years, simultaneously developing my own Krishna consciousness.
And was Crispian an aspirant in this path of
he's totally a devotee, the whole band, but him especially.
Right.
We became instant friends, like picked up from last life, many lifetimes, I'm sure. So it was an amazing time to watch the band flourish. Actually, Crispian wasn't singing; he was the guitarist in the band, and Hayley Mills's ex-boyfriend was the singer in Kula Shekhar at the time. So I said, Marcus has to go, and Crispian has to be the front man. And
that was a good call. He's a good singer,
he's
too.
He's very talented. Yeah. So he was very reluctant, really didn't think he had what it took. It wasn't, a little insecure, wasn't sure. I encouraged him. I was like, you're the star, like 1,000% you need to be up front. So we started doing demos and getting them out playing live. We had them performing probably 5 nights a week for 2 years straight. But it really brought them tightened them up their live
That's how you get good. That's how you become a total pro.
So then I went to India and I met my Gurudev, Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj, and
What year was that again?
That was in 95.
Okay.
And my life just changed. I just didn't want to manage anymore. I didn't want to deal with the music business anymore. I was done. I was finished. I wanted to just focus on spiritual life and have a family. Be a mom.
And voila. It happened.
25 years later, here I am.
Alive and kicking. So, okay, beautiful. How did it end with Kula Shekhar? Because they were a tour de force, and I think they introduced, kind of like they were a version of George Harrison back in the 70s. They introduced a lot of young people.
He actually played on one of their tracks.
George did?
Yeah, he played a guitar part on one of their tracks.
So, they were introducing mantras and concepts of devotion, bhakti, in the music, in the rock and roll spectrum. So, how did you break it to them that you wanted to move on, and then how was that transition for you?
It's a really traumatic time to go back to in my memory. I told Crispian, I think it was like Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, that I didn't want to manage the band anymore. And he was angry, the band was very upset. There was some angry, harsh words thrown around and phones got slung down. And then I didn't see them for many years. And then I saw Crispian in LA a few years later, and his wife, Yogamaya, and we were fine. Everything was great. You know, we're old friends, and I think we're always going to love each other no matter what.
You can't really throw cell phones down.
Oh yeah, no. The
Used
old
to be-
phones were good.
Yeah,
you could
they're
really
really good.
throw a phone down back in the old days. Yeah. You could.
Oh my God. I remember, I was just thinking of throwing things down when we lived in Ireland for a while, Rukmini and I. She doesn't want me to tell the story, but it's a fun story. So we generally don't get into fights. If they do, they don't last long.
No,
and
we
it's,
were in a 6th floor walk-up.
yeah, it was I don't know if you've been to the temple in Dublin, but we were living there, and we were doing all the music festivals, traveling on all the music festivals in Ireland. That was way back in the 80s. But I remember we had an argument, and Rukmini, or India, was standing at the top of the stairs, and she was holding this cassette player, and she was so angry at me. I don't even, what were you angry at me for, do you know?
Were we talking about music?
I can't remember. We were
Sorry.
recording music at the time.
Who gets credit for what lyrics?
Who knows? Is that
that'll
what
do it.
is that what we were talking about?
Let's say it is.
All right, it's a good.
You said you do.
I don't remember what
Or
it was,
you
but
did.
she was so angry. She took the cassette player, she threw it down the stairs at me. It missed
And it
me.
shattered.
It
All
shattered.
that music gone.
And then like about a week later, we saw one of the monks that were living in the temple had put it all back together and
Oh,
was playing
bless him.
music
With
out-
duct tape.
with duct tape.
Bless
And it
him.
worked.
Oh God.
And it was
So-
in a
Oh, I love
voluntary
that.
ashram.
Oh, how sweet.
I somehow that throwing down phones just brought that back to me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and you have a daughter whose name is Shamali.
Yes.
So it's kind of like God, Krishna, kind of knowing the musical soul that you are. He sent you this musical soul, and now she's on her way to becoming quite a significant pop star.
Yeah.
Maybe you can speak about that.
Yeah, I mean, Shamali just came out that way. When she was very little, she was singing the blues. And we don't listen to the blues. And we were like, where is she getting this soul from, this music? Already very young, 4 years old, 5 years old, but like real blues with the full-on black voice. And we were like, who is this kid? So we knew we had to develop her artistry. So lots of piano lessons, lots of ballet lessons. She did Bharatanatyam, Kirtan. And then she had some difficulty in Gurukul she was being bullied for being connected with Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj in the Gurukul, and it became really painful. So we pulled her out of school and homeschooled her.
That was here in
Yes.
Alachua.
Yeah, and that's why she then homeschooled, and that's when she began writing at her little mini grand that we bought her to encourage her to start writing and pouring her pain into song. So even though leaving school was perhaps a risk, it was probably the best thing that we did for her as an artist, because she learned how to channel her pain into music.
Wow. And what is the current state of her career now?
So right now she was recently signed by Scooter Braun and Hybe Records.
Scooter Braun's affiliated with Taylor Swift, I believe, correct?
He was mainly connected with Justin Bieber.
Okay.
He made Justin Bieber. He pretty much made him, I would say.
He's a producer,
He's a manager.
manager.
And now he also is the CEO of this label, Hybe Records. So she's signed to him for management and for label currently. And so she's in artist development. They're writing music, they're demoing, they're trying out different songwriters. But they have very big plans for her. So I'm sure she's got quite a remarkable career ahead of her.
And is it concerning to you because, we've all experienced the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
And the music industry is like the film industry. There's the beast element. So does that concern you and your husband? And perhaps you can explore that with us.
This is opening up such a can of worms, because the beast goes 7 layers deep.
Oh, yeah.
The material world is a can of worms, after all.
It is, but this beast in particular, the music industry beast, the Hollywood beast, the beast that controls the media, our minds, what we see as superstardom, who gets to influence our children, this is all beast, you know. So I'm very painfully aware of what's going on in the world. I don't have my head buried in the sand. I'm very aware. I did not personally, believe it or not, come across any dark stuff when I was surrounded by a very, you know, Satan-worshipping heavy metal crowd, which is really shocking when I think about it now, because I'm sure some of them were involved with some of these ritualistic elements of the darker things that are going on in the world.
But you don't think the average heavy metal fan is a
No,
Satanist by any means, right?
no, not at all, not at all. But you know,
or musician.
There are some that are known to be that. You know, they're known. They're self-professed. Lady Gaga self-professes that she's a Luciferian. She worships Satan. You know, so it's actually quite a lot, and do speak about it. I'm very concerned about my daughter going down this path. She has my husband and my prayers. She has my Gurudev protecting her. She has her own destiny. And I laugh about it. I'm like, well, you know, when you come home, every time you come home, I'm going to exorcise you.
Yeah.
you know I'm going to get the sage out. So she laughs about it. But I'm being quite serious.
Sure, because, you know, we know, all of us in this room have studied the nature of the beast.
Mm-hmm.
We are very aware that the music industry, the Hollywood machine, and all aspects of media are manipulated in ways by those who are in the background. The controlling powers, you know, we could go into detail on that, but we'll just keep it at that for now, to use these mediums as a messaging platform to you could say, give a message to the youth, which is essentially a sensuality, confusion.
Yes, to promote darkness.
Degradation. And because then people become more easily controlled and manipulated.
Yeah, addicted.
And they utilize art. I mean, Britney Spears, classic example. Justin Bieber, classic example.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga in one interview talks about the moment she met a guy in a club in Long Island and said, you know, you're very talented. You know, we just, do you really want to get there?
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing to do what it takes to get there and kind of turn yourself over? And she talks about that openly in one interview. And you
terrifying.
know, so and go ahead, Garx.
Oh, I was just wondering what your daughter thinks about your worldview. That's all.
Oh, my daughter wants me to shut up and be quiet and sit in a corner, but that's not going to happen. My daughter knows everything that I know, which is everything. So she's very aware, maybe too aware. But I wanted her to be cautious and to make right choices. And if she chooses to go down that path, then I'm just going to really have to fight for her soul. And I will. I'm a prayer goddess. No one's going to take my baby down.
That sounds like a song to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One that she'll write. She'll write that song.
Yeah. That's a good one. But yeah, I feel that kind of fierce mama lion energy from you when you speak about your daughter in this regard. So
Totally.
your daughter's very fortunate.
Thank you.
To have Mama Bear there. Perhaps we can segue into some of the research that you've done that led to this book, the research about Jesus in India. I know you've studied that. You visited sites. I've read some books in this regard. One of them was called Jesus in India.
Yeah.
I believe Satyaraj, Steve Rosen, wrote a book in this regard. And And then the Mary Magdalene story.
There's the Aquarian Gospel of Christ.
Yeah,
Yes,
that too.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Which I believe some of Prabhupada's disciples read some of that to him.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah.
And he appreciated it.
He
Yeah.
appreciated it. He was open-minded about it.
Well, I mean, there are many Vaishnavas who have spoken about Jesus in our lineage, including Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, and my Gurudev. They've all spoken extensively about Jesus, and my Gurudev told me that I should present him as a Vaishnav.
So Vaishnav means a devotee of the Lord Vishnu, or devotee of Lord Krishna, which is essentially a devotee of God.
Yeah,
according
so
to the Vedic tradition.
Yes.
a devotee of God
correct.
who is practicing the path of love, devotion to God in the path of divine love, specifically. Now, when I came to Gurudev, I had a lot of questions about Jesus. My first question is, where is Jesus now? Did he go back to Godhead? And Gurudev told me he wanted to come back in the line of Rupa Goswami to perfect his bhajan in this Manjari Bhav, to enter into Golok Vrindavan, not to go to Vaikuntha. And then he asked me, who was Jesus' guru? I said, John the Baptist. He said, what can he give? I said, nothing. So he said, this is why he's now returned. So he said that Jesus has taken birth in the Hare Krishna movement right now, that he's here currently in the Hare Krishna movement.
So Narayan Raj actually
Yes,
said that.
yes,
Wow.
he told me that in
Wow.
95. He said he's in the Hare Krishna movement, perfecting his bhajan in the line of Rupa Goswami.
Did he name any name?
No. Lots of people have asked him. The closest that we got was Roy Krishna asked Gurudev when he was here in 2008. He asked him, where is Jesus, Gurudev? And Gurudev said, Alachua.
Did he really?
He did.
Oh my God, that's wild.
Roy Krishna wanted to become a Catholic monk before he became a devotee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
He had actually applied.
Oh, wow. I almost became Jewish.
You almost became Jewish.
I did. I went through the whole thing to convert to Judaism, actually. And then the last year I would have had to have lived with an Orthodox Jewish family, and I was working in the music business. I was like, that's not going to work. Me coming home at 3 a.m., that won't work.
What brought you down that particular path? I was raised in a Jewish family, and I had my kind of come to Jesus moment, so to speak, when I was after I'd gone through a lot of difficulty personally. It really caused me to question the nature of reality. Who am I? Who is God? Why do I have to suffer? And I found a lot in the Jewish tradition, but I found it limiting to some degree. And so, yeah, what caused that? What caused that?
Love.
Oh, you were with a
Well,
guy.
I mean, I grew up in a predominantly Jewish area. There was me and one guy who were like not Jewish, and everyone else was Jewish.
Which part of London?
I was in Elstree, Hertfordshire. It's North London.
Oh.
It's a completely Jewish area.
Really?
So every guy I was ever going to fall in love with was going to be Jewish. And my mum said to me, don't go out with a Jewish guy. He'll never marry you. So...
Your husband now, was he born in a Jewish family?
No,
Okay.
he's not Jewish. So I started studying Judaism to look into, well, what does it take to be a Jew? Like, why do I have to be a Jew to be accepted by a man who I like, So I started studying Judaism, and I actually really liked it. So I started going to temple and following Shabbat, and I was like doing the whole Shabbat thing with an Orthodox family, and I really loved it. I just liked
Did you ever
philosophy.
carry a menorah?
No.
No.
I think that's reserved for Jewish people.
I see.
So, I liked the holidays, I liked the worship of God, I liked the history. It was probably just a past life fascination for me, I think. I tell people I have a Jewish soul.
So Yeshua was
Yes.
Jewish. So explain your research into the life of Yeshua, Lord Jesus, and his travels to India.
Yeah.
A lot of Christians are not familiar with that,
No.
or they don't take it as truth. What have
Well,
you?
and also though, if you look in Wikipedia, which who controls Wikipedia, they'll tell you
Now there's
that
Grokpedia.
I like
Yeah.
Grok.
Yeah.
So
I like
Grokpedia has
Grok's
now been
great.
started. Yeah.
they'll say there's no evidence, and that religious scholars say it's it's bunk or something. But if you go to India, there's a lot of places that claim that Jesus was there.
There's more evidence for Jesus existing at all in India than there is of him existing at all anywhere else in the world.
So explain.
Historically speaking.
Yes, please
you
give
can't
us.
take the New Testament Bible as a historical document, because it's been changed by every pope and every king in history since it was first written. Most of the four Gospels that are in the New Testament were written 120 years later after Jesus. So we're talking, somebody heard a whisper about Jesus said this, Jesus said that, somebody heard that whisper, and then it got passed down to another whisper, and then it finally got written down, and then it got changed, and then it went through 5 language changes to become English as we know it. So historically speaking, it's giving about 26 weeks of Jesus Christ's life documented in an entirety of a man's life. So where was he for the rest of his life?
What age? I know they said like maybe 12 to
13.
29.
Yeah.
Well-
So he had his bar mitzvah, so that was 13 years old.
Oh, okay.
So after his bar mitzvah, he went to India.
Right,
and
it's called the Lost Years of
Years.
Jesus.
There's evidence that he was in the 7th Shankaracharya school, which is right next door to Lord Jagannath's temple in Jagannath Puri, India. And he lived there for 7 years, and he studied there, and he was allowed to go into the temple and take prasad. So he must have been dark-skinned because they let him in. And he took prasadam. This is what my Guru told me. Gurudev told me he took prasadam every day from Lord Jagannath. And then the dacoits and the Brahmins, they became angry with Jesus because he was preaching to the Sudras. He was preaching to the people on the streets, the poor people, which is so Jesus' style, isn't it? And he got in trouble with the Brahmins. They were like, this knowledge is for us only.
So
This is-
the Brahmins were like the Pharisees in Jerusalem at the time.
Exactly. So he came up against his first band of authoritarians who were telling him, you can't be preaching this to those people. They are lower than the low. And Jesus was like, no one is lower than the low. Everyone is equal in God's eye. So Mary and Jesus were chased out of Puri by dacoits at threat of being stabbed. And they went through the Jharkhand forest to Vrindavan.
Wow.
So
Were they married?
yes. So there's a lot of evidence for the marriage. Actually, there's more evidence for them being married than there is for them not being married, because there's no marital status discussed in the Bible. It's just presumed he's married because they were all married, right? I mean, back then, Jewish men, they got married. Now, men, they get married. So a man who has a Davidic bloodline, a kingly bloodline, the first thing on his brain is progeny. I've got to have children, and I've got to marry a woman with a great bloodline. And Mary Magdalene came from a lineage, a very prominent aristocratic family called the line of Benjamin. And so she would have been betrothed to him very early on. Now, when he left and went off to India when he was 13, Mary Magdalene's betrothal would have been broken to him. So then she would have been married or betrothed to the next eldest male relative, which was John the Baptist. So there's actually a line of Knights Templars who believed that the Messiah was John the Baptist, and that the daughter that came from the union of Mary Magdalene and John was actually the messianic line was from Sarah, Tamar, the daughter of John the Baptist. So when Jesus later married Mary Magdalene, when John the Baptist was beheaded, Jesus married her. They had 2 sons together.
And this is at what time? This is before the whole crucifixion?
This is after the
exactly,
resurrection.
right.
After the
Was there a Jesus Jr.?
Yes. Actually, there's
Jesus Jr.
Justice. Yes.
Jesus Jr.
His
I
name
love
was
that.
Jesus 2.
That'd be a great name for a band.
That's
too.
what I was
That would
thinking.
make a great name for a band. I love that. Jesus Justice was their child.
Wow.
The famous Jesus Justice.
So tell me about the research about this. So, so we have some backing up with some research veracity, etc.
Yeah. Okay, so, well, I read so many books that it's too many to describe on here, but in the back of my book here, I have a bibliography with all of the books that I read, so that if people are interested to go down the rabbit hole, they can. But by reading my book, I've basically condensed all of these scriptures, all of this information that would take someone 35 years to research, that has gone into my brain, came out through this story. So it's all condensed there, not just their story, but their teachings. Teachings that were lost, that are not in the Bible, that are in the Essene Gospels of Peace by St. John. The most beautiful, honestly, next to Prabhupada's teachings, these are the most beautiful teachings I've ever read. Spiritual life came to life when I read these teachings.
Explain because I remember reading them when I was in my search for the absolute truth, and I was very touched by them. But can you explain the origin of the Essene
So the
doctrine?
Okay, so the gospel. So he wasn't an Essene. Jesus was not an Essene. He was influenced by a group called the Therapeutae, who lived in Alexandria, above the mountains of Scetis in Egypt. And this particular group, they were very unique because as Jews, they believed that women had souls. Oh, imagine such a thing. A woman has a soul. So back then, men did not believe that women had a soul. So Jesus was very radical because he let Mary Magdalene preach and he had her heal. And when he died, she was not only the first one to see him risen, but she was also the first one to go and pacify the men who were all falling apart at the seams, ready to just disappear, So she came there to pacify them and to give them strength to go forth and go preach and do what Jesus had told them to do. This came to pass. He said this would come to pass. He said that this would happen. Now go preach. But what they didn't know and what they didn't believe was whether he would actually raise from the dead. So I do believe he raised from the dead on day 3. And he had to, because he was the Jewish Messiah. He had to rise from the dead or he couldn't fulfill the prophecy. But do you rise in the flesh or are you rising as a spirit? This is the question. Because he met Thomas and he said to Thomas, "Here, take my hand. Take my hand. Feel me. I am as real as you. I am your brother. I am in the flesh. I am not spirit. Now let's eat." A spirit can't eat.
What are we going to eat?
Yeah, and can a ghost eat? Can't eat.
So
it's evidence that he rose in the flesh.
Some people think it's like he had a mystic city or something.
For sure, he had mystic cities. He's a Messiah. He's like Prabhupada. He had mystic cities.
So if the mystic city, city means perfections, like perfections of
magical powers.
Magical powers which are attained by great spiritual prowess. And one of those powers is to control the breathing to such a degree where somebody would take your pulse, they would think you are not living, but you have just
That's what I was driving at.
suspended the breathing process and kept it in the heart chakra, in the third eye,
Right.
whatnot. These processes are described in detail in Vedic literature. So great yogis who are advanced in these mystic cities, they can they can draw the life force within and appear to be dead. And then at the designated time, which seems to be the case with the resurrection story, fully become invigorated in their body again.
Or they could become a great catcher for the New York Yankees.
That would be great. Yeah. I think that would, I mean, the Yankees would, I think they'd win the World Series then.
I think so.
They won a lot when Yogi Berra
think
was a
so.
The
catcher.
Yogi Berra,
Yogi,
that's
there you
it.
go.
There you go. I was wondering
With all
what
the magical powers. It just takes
Leave it
magic.
to Gargs to have that connection.
More
That's
powerful
great.
than the new bat that they're using,
Yeah.
right?
So-
The new design bat. and
So
everything.
after that, however you one wants to see the resurrection from the mystic city, or however the Christians want to see it, we respect however one wants to see that. The fact it seems to be that historically he did arise, or he did fully inhabit his body and continue on from there.
Yes.
So what was his journey after that?
So that's the biggest secret. That's what people don't know. And that's why I wrote the book. Because if Jesus would have died and then floated off on a cloud like they say, then he would not be the Messiah. The Messiah had to rise and then go preach to the lost tribes of Judea. That was his mission. And if he didn't do that, then he wasn't the Messiah. So I write this story, my story begins at the crucifixion, where Jesus' wife Magdalene is at the crucifixion and she's pregnant with their first son. They just recently got married. They just had their second marriage. There were 2 weddings. They had 2 weddings. Back then, so let me tell you some of the evidence. Do you want the evidence?
Sure, yes,
Okay,
yes.
let's give you the evidence.
Yes,
because
because-
it's so juicy.
How many in the audience want the evidence?
We all, the eyes have it, my dear.
All right, so let's see if I can remember them all. So the first piece of evidence is that a bridal ritual is when a woman takes anointing oil and bathes a man's feet and then anoints with oil or wipes with her hair. This was a bridal ritual reserved only for a woman who was getting married. No man would be allowing a woman to bathe their feet in public and anoint with oil or wiping with the hair, a very intimate thing, unless it was their wedding. So this is in the Bible twice that Mary Magdalene did this. Why? Because in Judaic culture 2,000 years ago, you would have a first wedding, which would be performed publicly. You would bathe the feet, anoint the oil, anoint the head, and this would be a bridal marriage. Then you would have 3 months during which to create progeny. If you are not pregnant by the 3 months, you have to wait till the next year, till this 3-month window opens to have another chance. And if you don't have a child in your womb at the end of that, you are set aside and the man can take a second wife because you're barren. So there were 2 incidences of Mary Magdalene anointing and bathing Jesus's feet, which means that she was pregnant, because the second marriage wouldn't take place unless she was with child. So the second time she does this is in Cana, which is 2 weeks before his crucifixion. Why was Mother Mary asking Jesus, "We've run out of wine"? Why would she care unless it was something to do with her? Why is she organizing the wedding? Whose wedding is it? It's got to be her son's wedding. Otherwise, why is she asking her son, "We've run out of wine"?
Wasn't there a lot of weddings back then? A lot of feasts and weddings?
Lots of weddings, lots of feasts, lots of festivals, kind of like us Hare Krishnas. We like a lot of eating and festivals and dancing, right? Same thing.
So help me understand this wedding situation in the wine.
Yes.
This happened before the crucifixion?
This was right before. So she was pregnant when he was crucified.
Okay, but you're talking about the wedding of their son, right? Or
No, his wedding. This was his wedding.
His wedding.
Yes.
You're speaking of, when you said Mother Mary, you're speaking of Jesus' mother.
Jesus' mother.
Yeah.
She came to Jesus at the wedding in Cana in the Bible and says, "We've run out of wine. What am I
Oh,
to
it's
do?"
Jesus' mother, not Mary
So,
Magdalene.
yeah,
Okay, that's where I got confused.
Why would any mother be? Who is this Mother Mary, and why is she worried about the wine unless it's her? She's involved in the
So
management.
why aren't these things?
In Brazil, by the way, where my wife is from,
Why aren't these things in
half
Brazil?
the people are called Mary. I mean, half the women are called Maria.
Very, yeah.
Yeah,
They're very
so there's a lot of
Catholic.
Mary-
Yeah, it's
a lot of
very-
Lots of
Marys, yeah.
Catholic.
Pious culture. So why are these things not contained in the biblical writings?
So this brings me to another piece of evidence. In the scriptures that were omitted from the Bible by Constantine in 370 AD.
The Council of Nicaea.
Correct. When he omitted certain books, the Gospel of Philip, for example, the Gospel of Philip says, "And the Lord loved her more than the rest of us, and he kissed her often on the blank." The piece has been ripped out of the book, right? The old script ripped out very purposefully. So,
But back in those days, wasn't it kind of traditional that people would meet and they would kiss each other or something? No, it wasn't.
Oh, yes, friends.
Yeah, friends, okay.
A man would not be kissing a woman in public
Okay.
unless it was his wife. You would be stoned to death. You're not thinking about the culture. To understand Jesus.
I'd be walking around with a helmet.
Yeah,
So-
you know, I mean, like you have to go back in time into their culture and see how these people live. Think Saudi Arabia 50 years ago. Women covered up, no part of the body shown, women being stoned to death for even looking at a man. Like, that was the culture that Jesus was raised in.
It sounds a little barbaric.
Barbaric. So do
Okay.
you think that this man is like kissing a woman who's not his wife in public? Not happening.
Good point.
Not happening. So in the Gospel of Philip, he's kissing her now, and he's raised her up that she's someone important. Why? You don't do that unless it's your woman. Then in the Gospel of Thomas, there's lots of mentions of Mary Magdalene being a person who is more loved, that he loves her more than the rest of us.
The Gospel of Thomas, is that included in the Bible?
No, omitted.
right.
And the
So-
Gospel
and
of
those
Thomas
are-
is the best.
And where can one find those?
Amazon. There's the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. So the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, she talks about esoteric spiritual truths that the brothers don't. So she was privy to some secret information about the layers that we go through on the journey up into the kingdom or into the kingdom. So she talks about the 7 sins and how each of these sins chain the soul to the flesh and prevent ascension from happening. So she talks about the need to unchain yourself at each of these 7 places, which are basically the 7 chakras. So you unchain yourself from all of your addictions, and then you can go forth and try to enter into the kingdom. So actually the path is very similar. The path of bhakti, the path that Jesus talks about, is the same path that Srila Prabhupada talks about. He's talking about the kingdom of God, talking about loving God with all of your heart and all of your soul.
And part of that process, as you were mentioning, is the fundamental understanding that what is aham brahmasmi, what is my true identity, aham I am brahmasmi, spirit.
Yes.
That who you are, I am, we all are, we're these indestructible spiritual beings inhabiting a temporal form. And the temporal form has these different types of attachments, addictions, which keep us, as you mentioned, anchored to the material or the world of the flesh.
And illusion.
And which is illusion because it's temporary.
Right.
So it cannot give us lasting happiness, which
That's-
the soul is seeking.
That's it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So that's what
Thanks, man.
that's what Mary Magdalene surmises in her gospel. So her gospel, to me, is crucial because she's describing secret teachings that none of the other brothers were privy to. And these secret teachings are the same exact as Srila Rupa Goswami has described in Nectar of Instruction in the first verse, where he's explaining that we have to detach ourselves from all of these gateways where we became illusion to begin with. So when we gain control over our tongue through chanting Harinam, through the chanting process, through prayer process, a fixed practice, through eating offered food, vegetarian that has no blood, no sacrifice of animals attached to it, that these things, they elevate our consciousness and help us to go to that kingdom that Jesus spoke of.
And if we engage in these sinful activities or we don't overcome them, then it's kind of like mucking up our chakras, basically.
Well, it ties you to reincarnation. So she talks about
wait
this.
a second, the chakra muckers.
I love that. That's very good. Very well said. It ties you to reincarnation, and reincarnation is the cause of all of our suffering and sorrow. Reincarnation is the biggest problem that we have at hand.
Right, because
Refleshing ourselves.
we are as particles of spirit, which are particles of God.
Yeah.
God is eternal. Nitya Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam. The Supreme Eternal, we are parts of that Supreme Eternal. But if we're eternal and we keep having to come back and experience birth, old age, disease, death, all the different type of challenges of this world, but just those four, growing old, getting disease, and
Somebody
dying.
else controlling the remote on the television.
Yeah, that's like huge, or someone else controlling the banking system, or,
Yeah, that too.
the media, whatnot, the food supply.
Yeah.
So for the eternal soul to have to continually, some people go, no, it's okay if I become a dog. I'd like to become, my dog's got a good life. But, the soul who is eternal has to be subjected to these miseries.
Yeah.
And we don't know where we're going to be in our next life. We could be born in Gaza.
Yeah.
Not a fun situation.
That's it.
So the goal of all great spiritual and religious teachings is to liberate our mind and body from attachment to the accoutrements of this world and develop deep faith and love of God, so that at the time of death we're thinking of God
Exactly.
and can return to that permanent
Exactly.
realm.
And so what I was saying earlier is exactly the point, that you can't wait till you die
Right.
to enter into that realm. You have to practice being there while you're embodied.
And so this Gospel of Mary Magdalene,
Yes.
like you say, was very similar in the process. Kind of, it's like a scientific process. In other words,
Yes.
there's steps, like you control the tongue. The tongue controls the genitals.
Yes.
You absorb your
The belly's in between there.
the
too.
belly's in between, right? Yeah.
Forget the belly.
Hold on. Yeah, there it is. I see it. So it's very similar to the Sri Shikshamrita, or the
Yes.
Nectar of Instruction by Rupa Goswami. So in other words, it's an esoteric, revealed scripture, these teachings of Mary
Yes.
Magdalene. So where can one find that?
That's on Amazon.com.
Uh-huh.
But actually,
But you have
I have not just it's translated, but like I decoded it. So
Oh.
I sat with her book for about 3 years, and she completely unlocked it. Their language, they spoke in kind of mystical coded language. So for some reason, I just seemed to be able to unlock that and bring it forth in a coherent way, in a practical way. So I think that I've given justice to Mary Magdalene's life. And I think that anyone who loves Jesus is going to be very happy with my book, because you'll get to know him in a way that perhaps you haven't done so far. And you'll get to know him closely, intimately, and you'll hear his words in a way that you've never heard before, unadulterated, unchanged. And it will change your life. It will activate your divine love path.
Wow, beautifully said. What came to me as you were speaking that, which is very profound, is that many people are going to hear that who are locked into a certain way of seeing things.
Yeah.
There's a certain cognitive dissonance that happens. That, wait, my teachings say this, my teachings say this. And I realized when I think we all may have experienced this, when we were searching for the absolute truth, we had to kind of drop all previous conceptions to be open to what the path of Godhead was.
Exactly.
And so many may hear this and go, well, it doesn't say this or this, but your message is be open. Be open. Because God can speak in many ways. And there may be not, even Jesus said in the Bible, I have much more to tell ye, but ye cannot bear it now.
That's right.
Because people were at a certain level of consciousness, so he spoke in parables, which were more understood by the simple, but the parables would unlock mysteries to those that actually were becoming more devout, more prayerful, and therefore more realized.
According to your qualification,
Right.
the Guru reveals more deeper and deeper layers of the same teaching.
Right. So what I hear you saying is that some of those deeper teachings are being revealed through your studies, through your prayer and contemplation in your book here.
Yes.
In your vegan.
Yes.
Your realized knowledge.
Yes, I think so.
I think so. I see that.
Yeah.
Well, how would you respond to, like, I have had discussions with a lot of Christians over the years, and they quote the verse, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." And they make it an exclusive thing that you have to go be, you have to be a quote unquote Christian. And I know that one time Srila Prabhupada made the argument when someone said that to him. He asked, "Is God limited or unlimited?" He said, "Then why do you limit him to one son?" But maybe you could extrapolate on that.
We're all sons and daughters of God. So what Jesus meant when he said, "I am the Son of Man," I am the Son of Man, I'm one of you. He didn't say I'm the Son of God, I'm the Son of Man. There are a lot of mistranslations that people don't understand, like meat, for example. Meat, the translation,
Bromios,
means
right?
loaves. It actually means a bread loaf.
Yeah, bromios, I think, is the Latin.
Oh, is it?
I think
I
so.
love bread, by the way.
Which kind
But
of
to
bread?
stay on this theme, because I don't want to
Okay.
forget
Okay,
what
go
you were
ahead.
just talking
Yeah.
about. So what was the theme?
The theme is that they say that Jesus is the only way,
That's the one.
and that if like recently, J.D. Vance said something along the lines
Yeah, I saw
that
that.
I hope that my wife will find Jesus, even though
She's a Hindu.
she's a Hindu and she really helped him find his way. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. So this exclusivity, it's made by man. It's made by religious organizations, and it separates us. It creates a business out of religion. So, the minute that something separates you from another person, you should know that there's a non-truth there. If somebody tells me, well, don't go over there and listen to that person because that person's not right, and I go and I'm going to listen for myself and make my own opinion about everything. It's my
People told me,
nature.
don't listen to Alex Jones.
Oh,
I said,
yeah.
Okay, I'm going to listen to him.
David Icke.
I'll-
Don't go down David Icke's pathway. I've
Did
done
you-
it all.
Did you ever meet David Icke?
I didn't, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
would love to meet
Yeah,
him.
yeah. So yeah, this, I mean, even just from a logical standpoint, the point that Srila Prabhupada made, that if God is unlimited, which by definition God means omniscient, unlimited power, unlimited beauty, unlimited love, etc., the personification of that, which is Godhead, that, wait a second, I can have, even my dog can have a litter, so God can't have more than one son. I mean,
Right.
I'm sorry, that does not, it's not resonant with our understanding of what God is.
Yeah, God's been sending saints to this world,
Right.
messiahs to
Right.
this world since the beginning of
Since,
time.
and Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata.
Right.
Whenever and wherever there's an increase in irreligiosity and a decrease in religiosity, at that time, I descend or I send my representative to bring people back to the path of truth.
Correct.
So,
it's a never-ending line, because God loves us, and He will always send His sons and daughters into this world to help rescue us. We have to have faith in that. Right?
If he loves us, then why does he send us to hell for all eternity if we
He
don't do as he
doesn't.
says?
There's no such thing as hell for all eternity, not even for the worst kind of demons. So in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is one of the Vedic scripture books that I used for the middle section of my book, I have 14 chapters in here that describe 7 layers of hell and the 7 layers of heaven in great detail, because I want people to understand the karmic consequences of their actions. If you do this, then this is your future.
I
think it's all our future in a sense.
I'm so glad, Rick Minnie, that you bought these so they can act as a prop. There we go.
So, you go to hell for a certain number of years according to the severity of your sin.
Like a prison sentence.
Correct. But there are some hells that are way worse than others, and I really delve deep into them. I don't think that I'll ever be the same again after having written about it. I feel like I went there.
Experience?
Hell. I experienced hell.
I mean, people feel they experience hell
And
on
it was
Earth all
way
the
more
time.
terrifying than anyone could ever imagine. I felt like I was there when I was writing the book. I could cry remembering what I saw. It was horrific.
Well, and we see these things within the realm of this world. We see that people are living...
To a degree.
Yeah, I mean, we see some people living in sex slavery, tortured,
Yes.
their organs harvested while they're alive.
Yeah.
This is going on in...
It's terrible.
Like in China, the Uyghur Muslims, you know, and they
Yeah.
have, I mean, it's going on in the sex slave
Nigeria,
trade
yeah.
in Haiti and
Yeah.
even in Mexico. I mean, again, we don't want to go into the details of these things. That's another episode because there's a lot of people that have this experience, have
Yeah.
lived through these things.
Yes.
But there's hellish situations that are existing on Earth.
Like
so-
when your favorite restaurant closes down.
It's terrible.
I love the way you lightened
Terrible.
up the mood. Thank you.
Yeah, wow.
Well,
Yeah,
there are
and
worse things than that.
just like in a prison sentence,
Yes.
well, just like taking the analogy of the father and the child, or the mother and the child. A child can do some really bad things. They can go down the dark path of darkness. They can hang out with the wrong crowd. But the parent always has hope that the child will come back.
Of course.
And always gives that child a second chance. So even though a soul may commit some abominable activities, God, Krishna, is always wanting that welfare, the welfare for that soul, that child.
Definitely. More even than we want. for
Right. So
ourselves.
this idea of eternal damnation is where we differ from our Christian brothers and sisters.
Some
And
people are thinking of that about Dick Cheney right now.
Now, I wouldn't mind throwing him into a hell that lasts for a really long time.
Yeah. So
And that's probably where he's destined.
probably, done a lot of bad things.
Very. Him
Very,
and the Bush family.
Oh,
They'll
yeah.
all be going to a very special kind of hell.
Yeah, so. Yeah, maybe why don't we segue?
Worse than Gitmo?
Well, you know what? Listen, I agree with the justice system of karma. The Krishna's justice system, no one slips through, no one gets away with anything. In this world, people get away with everything. The courts don't take care of people properly who do bad things. But in the afterlife, that's rectified. No one gets away with anything.
You know, it's interesting. I had this fun story. I was with a friend of mine, and we were in Boston at I think it was a Pink Floyd concert.
Nice.
And we were distributing literature and whatnot. And this was many, many years ago. And we made the mistake of counting. We were in the parking lot, which was dark, and we were just kind of counting up the money that we had. And knock on the window. It was the cops, the undercover cops, which were very heavy in Boston. And they said, step out of the car and give me your money. And my buddy was in the car next to me, and they did the same thing with him. And I said, they said, what are you doing? I said, blah, blah, blah. And they said, we're also distributing these books. He said, we're part of the Hare Krishnas. You've heard of the Hare Krishnas? He said, yeah, of course, I heard you guys.
Yeah.
So, all right, let me see these books. So I went into the back, and there was books there. And he said, okay, let me ask you a question. He said, what do you guys think of the death penalty? And so I explained to him. I said, well, our philosophy kind of elucidates that very clearly, that if a person commits the act of taking someone's life, then the next life for that murderer, he's going to suffer terribly and unexpectedly receive a punishment much, much worse. And so therefore, the Vedic scriptures do believe, in the sense that an eye for an eye, that if someone commits murder, they should be put to death, and then they're relinquished of their sin instead of having to suffer so much more in the next lifetime, not know where it's coming from. And
Start with a clean slate in the morning.
Start with a clean
Do you
slate.
really,
in the morning.
though?
So he said, oh, that's incredible. He said, hold on right there, and he separates me from my buddy, and he asked the same thing to the devotee I was with, which is Loka Guru. You know Loka.
Yeah.
He's the local guru.
He's the local
Local
guru.
guru.
He's a little, not loco, but his wife may say so, but he's a great soul. So he gave pretty much the same answer I did. So the guy comes back and said, "Oh my God, you Hare Krishnas are amazing, fellas, Sergeant, give them their money back, let them go. We love the Hare Krishnas." Because
Yay.
That's a great story.
I love that.
it was a great. It was so classic.
Of course. Oh, go ahead.
When my Gurudev first went to LA in 1996, first time out of India, we went to the LA temple, the ISKCON temple. He wanted to go and take the foot dust of Srila Prabhupada. He wanted to go see where Srila Prabhupada had written so many books, and he had sent some mridangas there once, so he wanted to see where Prabhupada lived. And the temple president called the police on us. And we came out of the temple, and there was the policeman. And so Gurudev just walked up to, sorry, but we've been asked to remove you from the temple. And Gurudev said, "I'm just an old man. I've come here. I have no possessions. I want nothing from anyone. I just wanted to see where my guru used to live. But they want to kick me out. Anyone can come in here in any condition of life. Any dog eater, anyone high on drugs, anyone can come here. But me, they call the police." And then the policeman said, "Oh, you seem like a very nice man. I'm very sorry to ask you to leave." And he said, Gurudev says, "I used to be a policeman too." So they started up a whole conversation about being policemen.
It's a tragedy. It's a tragic. Again, it's the things that divide us rather than the things that.
It was very painful.
It was very, very unfortunate, and it's just extremely painful to hear about that.
Yeah.
It's organized religion.
Yes.
It separates people.
Well, the powers that be, they infiltrate every spiritual organization, especially a thriving one like Srila Prabhupada's.
Yeah.
So to think that beastly energy has not entered that institution would be to be an illusion.
It would be naive. Even
naive,
Prabhupada said.
Yeah.
There's
He did.
in previous podcasts I've mentioned some of these quotes. There are certain things that Prabhupada said, which is very clearly indicated that the agents of Kali are within.
Yes.
And we should be discerning enough and strong enough to weed them out. Period.
Yeah.
But we're not necessarily saying that the temple president of LA at the time is one of these people.
No.
Right.
Well, he's being ordered to
Right.
call the police. The
It's
orders came from
and
above.
it's sometimes it's like hate the sin, not the sinner. There's a kind of a misconception that's pervaded because of the proper understanding is not there.
Yeah. It's disrespect, The thing is, it's the same thing of like the Prabhupada is the only way, Jesus is the only way. When the minute that we close the door to every other way, we close the door. We close the door to love and connection. Because
Sounds like what's the Roxy music guy? What's the door to love?
Brian Ferry.
Brian Ferry.
Brian Ferry, I haven't heard that name in a yonks. Love Brian Ferry.
Oh, what was the name of that song? Something. No, there was of course "Slave to Love."
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
Was that Brian Ferry?
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry.
So good. A
That's from-
musical break.
Yeah, that's from the UK coming at you.
And of course, even in politics, people say blue no matter who, or they say, Donald Trump is the only way.
So, this only way thing, this has to be given up. We have to be exclusive and have total devotion to our guru. This is natural for any disciple. But to think that this is the only way, okay, so because I worship my guru, he's the only guru that's pure, and you think your guru is the only pure, and this one over here, and then you've got Tucker Carlson thinking that Jesus is the only pure one, and it creates division amongst all of us. Instead of seeing, okay, we're meant to have faith in our own gurus, we should see them this way, but we should not be looking and questioning what other people are or are not doing right. Just focus on yourself.
It's like saying my dad is your dad too.
Yeah, look, God is one.
There's a beautiful prayer by Prahlad Maharaj to Lord Nrsingadev, who's protected him from demonic ruler. It's a long story, we won't get into there now, but it's a beautiful prayer.
There was a film out just about it.
Yes, a beautiful film, Nrsinga Avatar. But I won't read the Sanskrit, I'll read the English. May there be good fortune throughout the universe, and may all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga, or the yoga of love and devotion. for God. For by accepting devotional service to God, they will think of each other's welfare. Therefore, let us engage in service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thought of him.
Perfect.
So, and it's kind
It's
of
perfect for people of any religion.
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the mood of the saintly person.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a lot of envious people in the universe.
Oh, you reckon?
So that's actually a good segue point to talk about the threat of the New World Order, One World Government, the 13 controlling banking families,
Yeah.
and how what do you see as their agenda, and how do we protect? Why is it important to understand that there is a plan by those who have the majority of the wealth, the banking families and their minions, to dominate and control society? Why should a spiritualist be interested to understand how that works? And what is your realization on these things?
So my realization is that the world sucks. The leaders of society don't give a fuck about any of us. We're all going to hell unless we do something about it. So my Gurudev told me that the greatest humanitarian effort is to become a pure devotee yourself. You can't save anyone unless you are saved yourself. So become that which you are trying to aspire to, and then lift others up. So I really took very deeply to the process of chanting Harinam, and I'm still in that process, and I take it very seriously.
Can you, for those who don't understand that, and we all in this room follow that process, can you explain what that process is?
Yeah, so chanting the Maha mantra. The Maha mantra means the greatest of all mantras. And the reason why it's the greatest is because it has the feminine and masculine divine within it. So it has a complete God power. You can't have only one power of God. The complete is masculine, feminine. So when I discovered this Maha mantra, I thought, wow, this is very cool. I like this. This is like the concept of God being married, the concept of God having a feminine, Jesus being married, having a feminine.
I mean, God is the source of everything, and what do we see in this world?
We're man and woman.
We have relationships of man and woman. That its
Here we are.
origin. If God is perfect and complete,
Right.
then He must have everything in His experience, in our experience, and beyond our experience. And within
Yeah.
our experience, we see male and female relationships. That must be there in its perfection in God.
And why would we want God to be lonely? Why would we want him to not have
Only the
a
lonely.
beautiful,
Who
a
sang that
beautiful
song?
girlfriend?
Roy Orbison.
Roy
The
Orbison.
most handsome male in creation has to be alone
Yeah.
because we say so.
Right.
This is very
I thought he was
Christian,
an
very
old man with a
Christian
long
mentality.
beard.
There you go, yeah. Condemning people to heaven and hell for all eternity. Yeah,
it's no
real
fun.
nice.
That's no fun.
He sounds really friendly.
He's a grumpy old man.
Like
He's
I really
sadistic.
feel comfortable approaching that kind of God. You know?
Well, you better, or else.
Yeah, or else.
So back to the process of this
Yes,
chanting. If you
yes.
explain that, if you could,
So,
and what that mantra is.
okay, so the Maha mantra is a collection of words that invoke divine God and divine goddess in their eternal kingdom within your heart at the time of chanting.
And chanting is like praying. essentially.
Chanting is repetitive prayer like a rosary,
Right.
where over and over you're meditating on the names of the divine, and these names awaken and purify you inside your heart, inside your mind, your consciousness. All of these 7 chains that we discussed in the Gospel of Mary become undone when you start chanting. So this chanting process takes you out of the 7 illusions. It relieves you of the 7 chains that are chaining you to fleshly addictions, things that cause you to suffer. And then...
And what is the prayer?
So the chanting is the Maha mantra. So it's Hare, Hare, means the goddess. You're invoking the feminine divine, Hare, she who has the power to take away all of my sins, that is Hare. And then Krishna, the all-attractive one. Who's the most attractive person in all of creation? God. Who is everyone trying to aspire to see? God, the most famous person in creation. And he's there in his name and she's there in her name. And then we call out these names and gradually...
And there's one more name.
Ram. So this Ram is not Lord Ram. This Ram is not Balaram, Krishna's brother. This is Radha Raman. This is where Krishna is in separation from the Radha, from the goddess. So this second part of the mantra is where we get to serve in bringing them together. So,
Although it can also be Balaram. This is the more
no, it can't be Balaram, because Siddhantically, Radharani, as the supreme goddess, she's not seen by any male other than Krishna. Balaram never sees Radharani's face. Not possible. Lord Ram never sees Radharani's face. It's Ras Abbas. It doesn't work. So actually the mantra is a meditation on the meeting and separation of these beloveds, of our beloved Lord and Lady. And the purpose of your chanting is to realize who you are in relationship to these divine personalities and what your services are in their eternal realm.
Didn't Srila Prabhupada say Rama means the reservoir of all pleasure?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So the mantra then is Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And as Prabhupada said, this is transcendental sound vibration,
Yes.
is imported from the spiritual realm
Yes.
into this realm to bring us back to that reality.
Yes.
And how is it different? Like if I say water, water, water. Like if I say water, 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 I'm not going
Right.
to...
Water
like,
doesn't have a personality.
there's
It doesn't
nothing in
have
here.
power on its own.
Right.
It's also in the realm of duality because water, the sound vibration water is different than
Right.
the substance water. If I say water, I'm not going. If I'm thirsty and I say water, 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 I'm not going to feel my thirst quenched.
The water won't come to
right.
you.
But if I say the name of God,
But you might have to pee if you keep saying that.
You might. Do you have to use the bathroom?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
But if we say the name of God, and it doesn't have to be Hare Krishna, Hare, it can be the name of Jehovah, Allah,
yes.
you know, so many.
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad.
Yes.
I'm just joking.
By
Who you
chanting,
invoke.
yeah,
You're
so
invoking a divine personality.
because that reality is absolute.
And
Absolute means
the name
there's-
is not different from...
right, which is the
from
meaning
Krishna.
of absolute.
So
Exactly.
he's there. We just have to purify ourselves by
We can't
continually
see.
chanting so we
Right.
understand
so
that.
we can't see him, but he can see us. So at time of chanting, it's really nice to have this drisya, this mood of being seen, of being that you're the witness and the Lord is seeing you. And when you chant from this place of qualification, that we're not qualified to see Krishna yet, but the Lord is always there seeing us. And when you feel that you are the witness being seen by the Lord, there's a flavor that develops in the relationship between the Lord and the follower, the seeker. That is then the beginning of your bhajan bhakti life. That's the starting point. The seed of your eternal spiritual form is within that. And so the more that you go into this type of meditation, praying and begging and following the mood of our Goswamis, following the moods of our previous acharyas, the saints who came before us, the more that we take shelter of them and beg them for their grace, the more that these revelations happen quite extraordinarily and naturally, and it's not actually so difficult.
Within this lifetime.
Okay, so let me clarify.
Depending on...
I want to clarify this
Mercy.
point because this is
Mercy.
really important. So when I came to Gurudev, I asked him, can I go home back to Godhead in this life? Because in ISKCON I was told I can go back to Godhead in this life if I chant 16 rounds a day and follow 4 regulative principles. So Gurudev asked me, have you eaten meat in this life? I said, yes, Gurudev. Have you had sex outside of marriage? Yes, Gurudev. Have you gambled? Yes, Gurudev. So on and so forth. So he said, not possible for bhakti to enter into a body that has touched these things. You have to be born again to receive bhakti in the vessel of a pure body.
Isn't that like the Bhoma Lila?
Not necessarily. Actually, it could take you 1,000 years, 1,000 lifetimes to enter Bhoma Lila. The good news is that, you know, Mahaprabhu has given us the example to follow. His example is so perfect. This mood of yearning, this lamentation, the tears for God, the weeping for God. So, you know, like my guru, he would always see me crying, and he would say, your tears are more powerful than thousands of lakhs Harinam. So I understood that this intense longing and yearning and churning in the heart at the time of chanting, this is what Mahaprabhu came to give.
Right. It's that's the mood of separation.
Yes, and that's what takes you to Golok Vrindavan.
So just to go back.
I just want to
Go ahead.
gently push back a little bit.
Yes, come on.
From what, you know, from what I read, from what Srila Prabhupada said, is that we can surrender to Krishna we can do it within a second, or it could take countless lifetimes.
That's true.
King Kula Shekhar.
It's totally true. I agree. It is a moment, and I've always felt like that it just takes a moment. So it's always readily available to us. It's we who turn away.
In the power of the holy name, one could say, it's more powerful than, like, one disciple wrote Srila Prabhupada about all the obstacles that he was going through, and he mentioned the planet Rahu.
Yeah.
Which is known in Vedic astrology to create all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
And he said just one kick of Krishna's foot can destroy, 10,000 Rahus, whatever he said. Yeah.
Easy for him.
So we have this powerful spiritual tradition that is very personal,
Yeah.
which really distinguishes it from many other traditions,
Yeah.
where the seeds of that personalism, that personal connection with God are there. But this Gaudiya tradition through the incarnation of Lord Chaitanya came as Krishna, who came to give this to everyone 500 years ago, at the time when people were looking for the path to the East Indies because they heard the Fountain of Youth was there.
Yeah.
Yes, and Ponce de Leon and all these great explorers set out to find the path to the East Indies because the
Did they find it?
Because they were looking for something material. They found what?
Yep.
America.
Yeah.
But the qualifications to find the Fountain of Youth lies in this tradition of bhakti, love, and devotion.
Yeah.
Now, we are up against forces of darkness,
Yeah.
as Gargs was reading in a previous episode of the podcast, the Eighth Element podcast, that, just like at the time when Mother Bhumi approached the Lord in Swetadweep, in the ocean of milk, and was aggrieved because of the earth is overburdened by demonic kings. We can see that now.
Yeah.
And maybe you can speak to that, what you see that agenda is, and why it's important for spiritualists to have some understanding of that.
So this age that we're currently in is Kali Yuga, an age of darkness, of quarrel and hypocrisy. The demons rule. This is their time to rule over us. There's no point trying to take them down. This is their time to rule. Instead, we should use all of our time in the forceful search for our soul within the Hare Krishna mantra or within any prayer practice that you practice, that you should be searching for your eternal self. And if you haven't seen the face of God, if you haven't seen the charming smile of the Lord that I love, then you have a lot still to find and seek. So don't give up until you see that charming face or you hear that beautiful flute song. And until that day, keep yearning, keep striving, keep working like death is right behind you, because
hold a
it
second.
is.
Hold on.
Oh, there it is.
Death is right behind me.
Come here, look. No, seriously. Listen, I can speak look, I know I sound really heavy about all these things, but here's the truth.
I mean, here's the flowers of the person who has remembered the beauty of God at the time of death. That's why the flowers on the skull.
The truth is, I have suffered so much in my life, physically, mentally, emotionally. I have so much trauma that I could have spent 10 lifetimes in therapy trying to figure out. Or I could take to the process that Srila Prabhupada spoke about and sit in front of the deities and cry my eyes out and beg Krishna to help me and to protect me and to love me where I'm unlovable. And the Lord responds, and that relationship then gets developed. And death is always on my shoulder. I could die tomorrow.
That's a good look for you.
I could die tonight. I could die tonight.
Halloween.
I could
Okay.
die tonight. A hair moment. Oh, look.
This is-
Love it, yes.
Our producer,
Executive
India,
producer.
Hi, everybody.
and my
So,
beautiful wife.
Yes, death is right here always.
It's true with your hair.
Literally, ready to come
He looks
take
very
me.
happy. He looks
She's
very
ready
happy.
to come take me anytime.
I know
So,
death is a person too. Just
Yamarash.
so I'm very painfully aware of the fact I've had many near-death experiences. I've been close to dying more times than I care to remember. I'm like a cat with 9 lives. I've got 2 left.
I would say that, and that was very beautifully put. Thank you. I would say, offering an additional perspective to what you said, that just like in the time of when Krishna was on the planet 5,000 years ago.
Yeah.
So God comes, just like a king can, just like the president can come visit the prison. He's not bound by the prison, but he can come, okay, let me see what the warden is doing, and or the governor of the state.
You're pardoned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he can pardon.
That's right.
So God can come to his different planets to make himself known and observe and give people the opportunity to see him and come to him and instruct and love him. So when Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, very well documented historically, that there was a battle, and his greatest friend was a warrior. His name was Arjuna. And even though Krishna and his associates tried to avert this war in every way possible, the avaricious, demonic nature of the kings of the Kauravas, they were not willing to be peacemakers. So the war was ordained, and it was a righteous war. So I
you can
would
read
say,
about that in the Mahabharata. By the way.
yes.
Yeah.
So I would say that we are at a time where, and Prabhupada said that the historians will look back and see that the Hare Krishna movement, this Maha Mantra and the distribution of transcendental knowledge saved the world in its darkest hour.
Yes.
And Prabhupada also encouraged people, just like Prabhupada told Siddha Sarupananda, one of his sannyas disciples, that in the future one of your disciples will run for president
Oh,
and
that's
may become
Tulsi Gabbard.
Tulsi Gabbard. So Tulsi herself is a warrior.
Yeah, she is.
So Prabhupada, we were reading some quotes the other day that Krishna consciousness or this God consciousness means not just Hare Krishna or praying the Jesus prayer, but every aspect of
All of
society.
it. All of
So
it.
we can enter, the spiritualists can enter into every aspect of society to purify it, which even means politics, which even means a general in the army, which, and because the demonic forces are powerful, and only light can overcome darkness.
Yeah.
So my particular viewpoint is simultaneously we cultivate the inner deep relationship with the Lord of our heart, with Krishna, with God in our heart, and Radha. Externally, we may also engage in activities, just like this podcast here. It's kind
Yeah.
of it's a vehicle to bring awareness and to carry on the discussions, which Gargs and
Yeah,
I
you
and
serve,
yes,
It's
So
not
I-
everybody's seva, though.
Yeah,
to be-
it's not-
receive,
yes.
and then you give.
right. It's not for everybody. It might be too much for some people. We get that. We respect that, but there is a place for it. There is a place for it. That's all. That's all.
Right here. Right
yeah,
here.
yeah.
So let's see what the eighth element has to say. Let's see about what I just said. Yeah, it says you're full of shit. Let's see. It says, can't say now. Can't say now. Okay, let's think of another answer here. It says,
So as
prospect good.
As far
Prospect
as
good.
like the powers that be goes, because you did ask me about that, and I don't know if I covered it. So the powers that be, this is because it's their time. Unfortunately, they are going to do and get away with the things that they're going to do. And we hear about these great Rakshasas in Srimad Bhagavatam in the Vedic scriptures. So we shouldn't be all that surprised when we hear these stories about people shape-shifting, people flying, people eating babies, people doing bad things in the world.
Right.
Because if you read the Bhagavatam, it's full of stories like that.
And Prabhupada said in the Bhagavatam and in other books that he wrote, one was, I think, Rajavidya, which is a compilation of some of his lectures, said, in the age of Kali, the world is being managed by man-eating Rakshasas. So, again, these are demonic forces. We've heard so many very credible reports of this type of activity. We know about adrenochrome.
Yeah.
That the elite, their elixir, their cocaine is
Yeah.
essentially the blood derived from children that are being tortured.
Correct.
And that adrenaline in that blood is like 100 times more powerful than heroin.
More addictive than crack.
Yes. And gives like a sense of the fountain of youth.
Yes.
And it's a horrific thing to extract that. They have to torture young
Horrific.
children.
Yeah.
You can look it up, adrenochrome,
Yeah.
for those who may be interested. We don't want to dive into that now, but there are very diabolical practices that
It
go
would be
on.
disgusting to dive into that stuff.
But you know what? I would love to come back and talk about some of that
Yeah.
with you guys sometime, because simultaneously to all of this, I also deep dived with all of David Icke's stuff from the very beginning. I've been researching all of that stuff for 35 years as
Yeah.
well.
So we'll have you back and talk
and
about
I,
that.
I have met with and I have counseled many survivors of satanic ritual abuse who were in
Wow.
these rituals. Many. I'm a part of many groups on Facebook with survivors.
I've also met and heard the video testimonies of many
Yes.
people.
There's
in-
thousands of them
Yes,
on YouTube you
yes.
can watch. Thousands.
Could I read this?
Yes,
What
Yeah.
you quoted
please.
here?
Yes.
Okay, so this is from Rajavidya, the King of Knowledge, which I don't know if it was a lecture that was put into a book or something like that, but it's on page 41. And this is the quote that you referred to. At present, this world is being managed by the Rakshasas. The Rakshasas are man-eaters who eat their own sons for the satisfaction of their senses. Now, when someone is a king, the citizens are considered to be like their sons or their daughters, right? So now great regimes have been created to smash so many people for the satisfaction of the Rakshasas' senses. And we can see this all the time
Oh,
in,
yeah.
in the horrible wars that are going on
Terrible.
around the world. But they do not realize that their senses will never be satisfied in this way. Nonetheless, the Rakshasas are prepared to sacrifice everything to satisfy their whimsical desires. It is very difficult for them to understand the real situation because they are overly enamored with material civilization. Who then can understand? And then Srila Prabhupada goes on to talk about the Mahatmas, which of course means great soul,
Yeah.
or broad-minded, spiritually advanced individuals.
So there it is. These are the people that are behind the scenes. Now, here's something very, very fascinating also, if I may read, which was, this is from Vishwanath Baba. He was a sadhu that lived in the Himalayas and would come associate every once in a blue moon, whatever, I don't know the duration of time of a blue moon, but this is told to Bhagavat Maharaj, our good friend. This is the year 2012. After the sadhus left, Vishwanath Baba told Bhagavat, now war is about to start. He said, during the Mahabharata war, which lasted 18 days, 5,000 years ago, out of the 18 days battle, half a day's fighting was kept reserved for fighting in Kali Yuga. Now that last remaining part of the Kurukshetra battle will be fought.
Oh, wow.
That's the time we're living now. The war will be fought between the Malechas and the Yavanas, different demonic forces. He further said, now Bhagavan, or Lord Krishna, isn't necessarily present in the temples. If he was in the temples, then he would pull people to him, and no one could stop people from going to see him. But they are able to lock down the temples. This is before COVID.
Lockdown.
He actually said, but they are able to lock down the temples and block people from going to the temples.
Wow.
Predicting the COVID era. We can see that no one is getting pulled to him in the temples, so his presence may not be there anymore. He has shifted his presence to Kalki Bhagavan, and he will begin his destruction Leela, which will come at the end of Kali.
But in this Kali Yuga, there's no Kalki,
Yeah.
because Mahaprabhu came. You can only have one avatar in one Yuga.
Well, he's
Thank you,
come-
Mahaprabhu.
Yeah, he-
Yes, so grateful. Do you know how lucky we are? 500 years ago he was here. It's nothing. It's a drop in the water.
It's just yesterday.
Yeah, we're so fortunate.
So, just to conclude our conversation, first of all, it's really been an honor speaking with you. You have
Same,
so
thank
much
you.
to give the world. And I would like to get a copy of your book.
This is for you.
Thank you. Thank
I'll
you.
sign it before.
Thank you, please. Not in blood, though.
No.
I have a Sharpie if you need it.
That would be better.
But, I think we've covered a kind of a very fascinating, array of subjects here,
Yeah.
which all points to this, the essence, which is our spiritual life, which at the end of the day can not only save us, but save the world.
Absolutely.
So as that prayer that I read earlier, let's pray for that all envious living entities may be pacified by this propagation of the holy names, which don't have to be, they can be from any tradition.
Mm-hmm.
But as it is said in one of the Upanishads, what is the Upanishad? Starts with the K. That Harinam, 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 Eva Kevalam, Gatiranyata. The Harinam, that the name of God is the process for self-realization, God-realization in this name of Kali.
There is no other way.
No other way, no other way. That to take this name of God and take it into one's own home.
Yeah.
That one doesn't have to become part of an organization. One can take this prayer, this chanting of the holy name of God in whatever tradition they're in,
Yes.
and make it a daily practice.
And make your temple your own heart.
Right.
Make the altar your mind.
Prabhupada said there was one pamphlet that my friend Rupanuga found in the Radha Damodar temple. It was under the glass of the desk that Prabhupada would write on. And it was something Prabhupada wrote in the 1950s called Perfection at Home.
Wow.
That really this is the process for people to become serious about their spiritual life, because only light can overcome darkness, and
Yeah.
we're living in the age of darkness.
Mm-hmm.
That everyone should be encouraged to take this into their home.
Mm-hmm.
Make their home and temple, make their heart a temple.
Yeah.
And chant the names of God. It could be the names of Yeshua, the name
It's
of
so easy.
Jehovah, Hare Krishna. And
to see God within every living entity.
Yes.
And within every atom.
Yes.
and this
everywhere.
way, there can be peace on earth.
And then one last thing.
Please.
Don't criticize even an ant. My Gurudev used to say, don't criticize even an ant.
Note to self, stop criticizing those ants in your house.
Because
What about termites? We just found out we have termites. We just found out.
that one drop of criticism is like one drop of poison in a pot of milk.
Yeah.
It spoils everything for everyone.
Yeah, we want to, the saintly people encourage us to, calling a spade is one thing,
Yeah.
hate the sin, not the sinner, but to really look for the good in others.
Look for the good in others, and you know what? It's not difficult, folks,
Yeah.
because there's good in everyone.
Hey,
God is in everyone.
And I'm seeing so much beauty and good in you.
Aw,
And also
and I in
our
you.
beloved
Thank you.
Gargs.
Same.
How about Dick Cheney? Any good in him?
Oh,
There's a
now
soul
for
in
us.
he's a spiritual soul.
But he was a dick.
So,
let's
so,
face it.
He
so
was-
after he's gone to hell for a really long time to pay for his crimes, and he returns to Earth, at that point, I can say he has a soul. At this point, he's soulless.
His soul is covered by darkness.
He has there's no chances for him at this point, and nor should he be given one.
Well, I think that we should.
That's her opinion.
that we should.
That's
we
my
should-
opinion, based
Yeah.
on the fact of the crimes, not just against humanity, but the crimes against the children.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
For me, as a mother, I draw the line.
Mm-hmm.
And we will let God have that judgment.
Yes, and he will.
All those people who died in Iraq.
Yes,
Oh.
millions.
Millions. Yeah. Orchestra. The Project for a New Century was their plan
Yeah,
which justified their taking down the World Trade Centers
yeah.
and
That was the
leading
start
us
of everything.
leading us into
Conspiracy
decimating the
theory
Mideast.
alert.
Oh,
Yeah, that's another. We'll explore that theory in another episode
Yes.
of the eighth element. And what is the eighth element, Gargs?
Love is like oxygen. You get too much, you get too high. Not enough, and you're gonna die.
Woo! All right, we're going to close on that note.
Love makes
Thank you.
you high.
Thank you, Krishna Rose, for joining us.
you for
The
inviting
book is
me.
called Woman in Red, Magdalene Speaks. It's available, I would imagine, on Amazon,
Yes.
Barnes & Noble, perhaps.
Yes.
Please buy this book.
Go on Spotify, check out our music or whatever.
Yes.
thank you.
Whatever music platform you use.
And
Thank you.
until the next
It's been
time.
fun.
Yes, fantastic. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
God bless.